As the cameras rolled at the US Open, they caught more than just a tennis match. They captured Donald Trump in a moment that's reignited a firestorm over his failing health and his desperate attempts to bury the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. The image of Trump fumbling with what looked like a pill, too small to be a mint, too suspicious to be ignored, has sent the internet into a frenzy, amplifying concerns about his physical and mental decline. Couple that with his administration's frantic efforts to suppress Epstein-related documents, and you've got a president who's not just dodging accountability, but stumbling under the weight of his own crumbling image. This is a man who spent decades branding himself as a tough, unassailable titan, yet now stands exposed as weak, confused, and mired in corruption, a caricature of the macho myth he's peddled for years. Let's start with the spectacle at the US Open, where Trump, the self-proclaimed paragon of vigor, was caught in a moment that shattered his carefully curated image. The footage shows him popping what appears to be a pill, small, discreet, and definitely not an Altoid, despite what his loyalists might claim. Social media erupted, with speculation from armchair doctors and commentators suggesting it could be an upper to keep the 79-year-old awake, a crutch for a man whose own vice president, J.D. Vance, admitted he barely sleeps. Vance's revelation on Fox News painted a troubling picture. Trump, burning the midnight oil, calling aides at 2 a.m. one moment and 6 a.m. the next, as if sleep is a weakness he refuses to indulge. But at 79, when most people need more rest, not less, this erratic pattern screams cognitive and physical decline. Studies show chronic sleep deprivation at his age ravages both body and mind, and Trump's public appearances are a walking advertisement for that damage. Look at the evidence. Swollen cankles that make his legs look like they're auditioning for a role as tree trunks, bruised hands slathered in makeup to hide the marks of age or worse, and a gait so unsteady it's as if he's navigating a ship in a storm. His speech, once bombastic, now slurs into a garbled mess, with words tripping over each other like a toddler learning to talk. At a recent dinner with tech titans like Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates, Melania reportedly had to play interpreter because Trump couldn't hear the reporters' questions, a humiliating scene for a man who's built his brand on commanding every room. The internet's obsession with that US Open pill moment isn't just gossip. It's a reflection of how fragile Trump's strongman persona has become. One photo, one tiny pill, and the entire narrative of his toughness collapses like a house of cards in a windstorm. And let's not ignore the whispers about substances. For years, reports have swirled about Trump relying on pharmacological boosts to maintain his frenetic pace. Whether it's the alleged pill at the US Open or the long-standing rumors of stimulants, the idea that he's propping himself up artificially only deepens the perception of a man in decline. His team can slap on all the bronzer and spin all the stories they want, but you can't hide the truth when it's written in every shuffle, slur, and bruise. Trump's health isn't just failing, it's a public humiliation, a daily reminder that the emperor has no clothes, and the ones he's wearing are ill-fitting and frayed. If Trump's physical unraveling is a personal embarrassment, his administration's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein case is a moral and political disgrace that reeks of corruption. The House Oversight Committee's release of 33,295 pages of Epstein-related documents, many already public, has done little to satisfy the bipartisan clamor for transparency. Democrats like Representative Jasmine Crockett and even some Republicans, like Representative Thomas Massie, are pushing for a full, unredacted release of the files, including the infamous birthday book that allegedly contains a bawdy note from Trump himself. Yet Trump's Justice Department, led by Attorney General Pam Bondi, is fighting tooth and nail to keep these secrets buried, citing privacy concerns for Epstein's associates while ignoring the cries of his victims. This isn't just about Trump's name appearing in the files, though it does multiple times, as reported by the Wall Street Journal. It's about a broader conspiracy to shield the powerful from accountability. Epstein wasn't a lone predator. He operated within a network of enablers, from Ghislaine Maxwell to unnamed elites who benefited from his crimes. Trump, who once called Epstein a terrific guy and partied with him for 15 years, now dismisses the entire scandal as a Democrat hoax. This from a man whose framed photo sat on Epstein's desk, a testament to their cozy friendship until a supposed falling out over real estate in 2004. His administration's refusal to release the full files, coupled with Bondi's claim that there's no client list or evidence of blackmail, only fuels suspicions of a cover-up. Why the resistance if there's nothing to hide? The Oversight Committee's efforts, including subpoenas for Maxwell and Epstein's estate, reveal the depth of this scandal. Survivors like Chauncey Davies and Anuska DeGiorgio have bravely shared their stories, describing a system that protected Epstein even while he was supposedly incarcerated in 2008. False immigration papers, sham marriages, and continued abuse under the nose of the federal government point to complicity at the highest levels. Crockett's fiery remarks hit the nail on the head. This isn't a partisan issue. It's a moral one. Yet Trump's DOJ is stonewalling, fighting judges to keep names like those of two Epstein associates who received six-figure payments in 2018 under wraps. The message is clear. If you're rich and connected, the system will shield you, while victims are left to suffer. Trump's hypocrisy is galling. During his 2024 campaign, he promised transparency on Epstein, yet now he's slamming the door shut, calling the push for truth a distraction from his legendary presidency. His base, once rabid for Epstein's secrets, is fracturing, with figures like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert joining Democrats in demanding answers. Even House Speaker Mike Johnson, a Trump loyalist, met with survivors and emerged visibly shaken, though his claim that Trump was an informant against Epstein is laughable. Pure fiction to prop up a failing narrative. The more Trump denies, deflects, and distracts, the more he looks like a man with something to hide, scrambling to protect not just himself, but a cabal of powerful cronies. What ties Trump's health and Epstein scandals together is his pathological need to control the narrative. This is a man so obsessed with appearing strong that he renamed the Department of Defense the Department of War, just to sound tougher, a move he admitted was pure ego. He's trashed the Rose Garden, turning it into a tacky country club courtyard, and planted flagpoles outside the White House as a juvenile flex. His presidency is less about governance than remodeling the optics to match his fragile self-image. But no amount of bronzer or bombast can hide the reality. Trump is a diminished figure, physically faltering and morally compromised, clinging to a myth of invincibility that's unraveling by the day. His health scandals feed into this dysfunction. The public's fixation on his swollen ankles, bruised hands, and slurred speech isn't just schadenfreude. It's a reflection of how his physical decline mirrors his political one. A man who can't walk straight or hear questions without his wife's help is not the commanding figure he pretends to be. And when he's caught popping pills at a tennis match, it's not just a health concern. It's a symbol of a presidency propped up by artificial means, whether it's makeup, drugs, or lies about Epstein. His supporters might still cheer, but even they can't ignore the cracks in the facade when the evidence is this blatant. The Epstein cover-up is even more damning. Trump's refusal to release the full files, despite his campaign promises, exposes a man more loyal to his elite circle than to the victims crying for justice. His administration's tactics, releasing recycled documents, fighting court orders, and dismissing survivors' pain as a hoax, are the moves of a corrupt regime desperate to protect its own. The irony is that Trump's obsession with projecting strength only highlights his weakness. A truly confident leader would face the truth head-on, not hide behind excuses and redactions. Instead, Trump's flailing response to both scandals paints him as a man cornered, humiliated by his own body, and betrayed by his own secrets.